What's up guys, Justin here for S&S Archery. In today's gear video, we're going to be looking at the Hoyt Picatinny mount for the HHA sports sights. So if you recently went out and purchased one of the newer Hoyt bows, whether it was last year's models or this year's, like my RX-7 Ultra here, one of the new features is Hoyt has integrated a Picatinny style mount on the front of our risers. So what this is doing is it's allowing us to mount our sights directly in line with our riser, creating better bow balance. No longer are we having to mount the sight on the side of the riser. So the only thing hanging off to one side is the weight of our quiver. So this is really going to help with your bow balance. In some instances, you can eliminate a back bar. You really are eliminating a lot of that weight hanging off to one side. It's just going to help you shoot a lot better and more consistent. So when we take a look at the Hoyt mount here for the HHA sports sights, this is all machined aluminum, a clamp style, very similar to the black gold, the quick link. However, a lot less material. And this is also going to mount on either your regular Tetra, your Tetra Max, or it can be mounted on your tournament edition sights as well. What is really nice is you still have your third axis adjustment. So when you're shooting those steep angles, long distance shots downhill, you don't have to worry about your arrow drifting as long as you set that up initially. That is included with this mount. So that is definitely nice to have. As far as the distance, just so you can get an idea, when this is mounted up on my bow, basically from the scope ring back to where it mounts, this is roughly 5 inches. The one thing you need to know is if you're gonna run this style of mounting system up to your new Hoyt is you lose the ability to move your scope housing in or out. So really a lot of that fine tuning, getting the right amount of light around your sight ring, making sure you're centered every time. You might have to adjust your peep size going forward. For me, I had to downsize just one size, but it really helped me get the correct amount of light. And so I was able to center up on my scope rings just like the way I wanted it to. As far as installing the Hoyt mount to your sight, it's very easy to do. Just follow these steps. The first thing you need to do is here on top, there's 2 screws that we're going to take completely out. You will need to reuse these, so don't lose them. The second screw is basically a full threaded pin that's just going to hold the dovetail or the base in place. You're just going to take that all the way out. And then here on the inside there is a spring, so just be cautious it doesn't shoot across the room. Grab the mount. And then here on the front of the mount, you're going to see a little indentation. This is where that spring is going to sit. We're going to place it right back over the spring. Line up the holes. Go ahead and grab that fully threaded screw. We're just going to drop it in place, push it all the way down, and then go ahead and lock it in. Take your main Allen here, which is going to control that third axis adjustment, and you're going to tighten it in place. So once you have the Hoyt mount installed, it's time to put it on your bow. Basically we have these 3 slots that we can use. This main screw here is going to be what basically sits in these grooves. So for the video, I'll go ahead and put it right in the middle, and then you're just going to tighten it in place. Once I feel it start to snug up, I'll kind of wiggle it back and forth, make sure it's seated in that channel, and then tighten it up the rest of the way. All right guys, so as you can see, very easy to install. Probably the hardest part is just taking your dovetail or your standard base off the sight. But once you have the mount on, slaps onto your bow in no time, very easy to install. The one thing you kind of need to know is this mount on the inside part of your riser, there is a chance that you're going to see a little bit of this mount covering up your sight ring. Just depending on your windage and where your bow likes to shoot, you might have a little bit of this mount covering up a portion of your sight ring. I know for my black gold, my quick link, it did cover up a little bit. No, it doesn't affect the actual sight picture, just the inside portion of the ring. So it just really depends on your bow, how you hold, how you grip it, how it shoots, whether or not that little inside piece is going to cover up some of your sight ring. But really, I've gotten used to it and don't even notice it's there. So if you guys have any more questions about the Hoyt mount for the HHA sports sights, feel free to give us a call, shoot us an email, we'd be glad to help. If you guys have found this video to be useful in any way, please hit subscribe to follow us along on more gear, hunting, and review videos. Thanks, guys.